Okay, so this is a short video to show how to install Zibo. As you can see in the aircraft folder, I made a second folder called Zibo. Makes it all easier. And underneath that, a subfolder called B737-800X. That's just for separation between the default 737-800. So right now there's a previous version installed. You have to excuse my English, but that's not my native language, so please follow. Try to follow, as I can see. Okay, so what I do, this is what I do, and this is my method. This is of course Windows, not Mac or Linux, so bear with me on that part. What I tend to do, this is of course just a test version of Explain 11.30, so keep that in mind. Shouldn't make any difference at all. So what I do, I just select all. I deselect libraries because that's where I have all my libraries. And normally I also deselect preferences, but to make a clean install, you should do this. So the first thing I do is I delete everything. Then I get left with libraries. So when that's done, let me make this a little bit easier. And I'll do this one. Just take up the folder where I got all the versions update to make it more simple. Then I do the full version, that's the base version. And inside that, you get the whole aircraft. And then deselect libraries, and I copy everything over. This will take a couple of minutes because due to the file size of the Zibo plane. And while we wait for that, we can then pre-select the latest version. That'll be Sierra, which you have everything you need for that. So this is not a SSD disk, it's a serial SATA. So it's I think it's about 7,200 RPMs or something. So it's not the fastest drive at all. But again, this is only test installation of Explain. So bear with me. So this will be almost finished. Okay, so this is finished now. And also the B738 preference is completely new according to the base version. I noticed that if you do not delete this one, you tend to get your views all mixed up again. So it's better to reconfigure the views in your plane. So that said, we'll take this, deselect the libraries. We don't need it because it's already there. And we copy that over to this folder. Did I copy? Okay, this one. And we'll replace all the files already in. In this case, we moved, so it doesn't matter if you move or copy. Okay, so when this is done, all you need to do is open up Zibo, open up Explain. Of course, this is 11.30, beta 6. Shouldn't take too long. And of course, new flight. You will see you have your Zibo already installed, but for the sake of this, you load the default 747-400, and airport doesn't matter. Just start a flight. This shouldn't take that long. There's hardly any scenery installed, so shouldn't take a huge amount of time. So it's looks like it's already precompiled the scenery files. And checking if there are any new. There shouldn't be any. They're all default, so basically that will be it. Seems to be a little slow today. Not sure why though. Could be because this is the first time I started X-Plane after updating to Bravo 6, so that might be the reason, reason of the delay. There we go. Done with preloading. Okay. There we go. Parked at the general aviation. That's fun enough. Just to prove that. Nice place for a 747. Well. Front. Now we have this 747 loaded. We can do flight configuration. Select Zibo and the paint you want, and start a new flight. What this it configure new Zibo with all default preferences and settings. And you do that by selecting the 747, at least I do. And it seems to be working every single time, so I never had any issues with Zibo except for the bugs and etc. So let's see how long this takes. Seems the loading in B6 seems extreme slow. Not sure if that's a beta thing or something. This normally doesn't take that long at all. So hopefully this is the first time. So kinda annoying. Kind of reminds me of the old days where we had 64 hertz of modem speed or something. Okay, so when that's done, you have a completely new version of Zibo. Version 3.1.0. It stands sound spec not found, but when you power up the aircraft, it says it's active. So not sure why though. Connect the APU and ground power. Of course, you need to program all your views again, because that's of course all the default. So let's say we do this one and just take this very fast view, so we can change between views. Yeah, so that's all. That's about it. Should be okay. Home. And still not found. So, but yeah, that's a clean version of, like clean installation of Zibo. Thank you.